much. Through you, Mr. Chair, I most definitely have been supportive, pushing for an expedited process related to the encampments, particularly in the concentrated area of the Etobicoke Creek and the trail. I've said many times before that this is the only high concentration of encampments located within a residential area, existing residential area, but also with significant public safety concerns as well as within a flood zone. So with an expedited interim approach, which quite frankly we've been working on and pushing for the past few months now and have learned tremendously in the process, we're actually developing a protocol as we speak. And in the latest update from staff at the Region of Peel yesterday, I received an email saying that we went from the first week of May, we had 38 encampments, individuals in encampments in the Calvert Park, Etobicoke Creek Trail area. And we are now, as of yesterday, down to 9, from 38 to 9. That's a significant amount of work and learning that has already happened. And so I'm hoping that, and would like to see in July, when the interim pilot protocol comes forward in July, that those learnings are included. But to the point on the criminal activity, in the town hall meeting that we had a couple of weeks ago at City Hall, hosted by the region, we actually heard from encampment residents who were those who were unhoused and homeless because they were down on their luck. And the residents in the area never had an issue with folks who were experiencing being down on their luck. There is a difference. So I think we need to look at, with the protocol, how we, number one, deal with encampments in different types of locations, different contexts, and how they're prioritized. They should not be in a flood zone. They should not be within X meters of a residential existing neighborhood, et cetera, but also what the protocol is in dealing with folks in encampments who are down on their luck, and those who are repeat offenders identified by the police and continue to come back to encampment sites. So those are the things that I think are in our learning in Brampton, we need to include in the protocol and policy, because you can't treat, as we've learned, everybody the same. Having an encampment that's up against the 410 off and off ramp is very different from dealing with an encampment protocol and policy in a situation where there are 38 encampments in an existing residential neighborhood where residents are complaining about public safety issues. So different. So back to, I guess, question to staff, will those considerations be implemented or be brought forward, and how we deal with different contexts, but also the learning we've done through all the pushing and work we've done so far. And I think, to the previous delegation's point, the cost associated with it for us to house folks who are homeless in the hotel spaces every single month, because we need to make sure that the province also understands how much it's costing the region and property tax dollars because of underfunding and being chronically underfunded. If staff can respond, that would be great.
Great, thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Councillor Santos. Yes, in terms of responding to the question, I did want to confirm the information that you shared here with Council and members of the public. We did report previously that within the Etobicoke Creek encampment hotspot, we were ardently trying to find additional shelter space, hotel space, to support the residents of this encampment area, and in a way that supports them and is dignified and is respectful. And Aileen reported here and shared that of the Herculean efforts to find additional hotel space. Quite frankly, we're running out within the region. But to say that we have secured that, and we have put forward dedicated spaces for individuals in this area. And to your point, we are seeing some success. So within a very short period of time, we've almost housed 30 people with a small number remaining. So it just demonstrates the critical component of supportive, safe, reasonable housing. We know this. We collectively as a society know this. We know that housing first makes such a fundamental difference in terms of the dollars spent on front and the deferral in terms of social costs on the back end. So just to say, yes, we're working together with our community partners to find those solutions, and we will absolutely bring all of those experiences and the experiences of our partners, many of whom have been named here, to inform those ultimate recommendations that we bring back to council. And we are targeting that endorsement in the fall. And Councillor Santos, to your point, yes, the intent is to bring forward meaningful, practical suggestions, directions, solutions to quite a number of the situations and circumstances that you have referenced. So that finding that balance is so elusive, right? So that's really what this protocol and policy will be working hard to achieve. And it's to recognize those basic human rights of all members of our society. And that includes the communities and the residents and the businesses that also live in the neighborhoods. So we do anticipate that there will be strategies that speak to those very circumstances that you have highlighted, with the ultimate intent to recognize and support individuals. And to the CAO's comments, encampments are a global reality. And together in a just society, the intent is to work together to find supportive solutions for the entire community. So yes, we will certainly be taking that as direction to staff, and to the best that we can in version 1 and version 2.0 that we bring forward to council to together bring informed and supportable, practical, pragmatic solutions. So thank you.
CEO Kent, top up on that.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Thank you through you, Mr. Chair, to Councillor Santos. You've certainly been pushing us as Councillor Vincenti, and it's been painful, hasn't it, really? Let's be honest, it's been a real learning for most of us, and we're playing catch up, and I think we've really learned a lot of lessons and answered a lot of hard questions so far. So we'll document all of that, and that'll be there July the 11th. But thank you for raising the question of funding, because it ties back to the previous delegation. So the Regional Appeal is in the business of providing community housing. A lot of the housing targets that we're talking about just now, the province is market-driven based housing, still unaffordable for a lot of our community. And in Bill 23, it eliminated $200 million worth of development charges over the next 10 years that we formerly were able to collect for community housing in Peel. So that's a fact. At a time where we're trying to grow our financing, we're now in a $200 million deficit for community housing. So that's part of that bigger funding piece. And that maybe is an example how that connects directly to the issue that we're dealing with just now. Our role is to provide shelter. It is a more expensive model that we've used, but we've used it in the past in other locations. But that isn't really the solution. It's not putting people in hotels long term. We need more housing. We need more affordable, community-based housing, maybe the challenge of our generation. So thank you for making that connection to finance, and I thought it rounded out the delegations this morning very nicely. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Santos, last word to you.
Thank you very much through Mr. Chair, and to staff, Andrea, and to Gary as well. I think that in July, when the report comes back regarding what we've learned in this interim immediate response related to the encampments in the Etobicoke Creek Trail, I think we should also include the costing. How much has, but not just in terms of the costing from the region of Peel, but the other partners as well, because the residents have also expressed concerns about that. there is the cost to the city for the cleanup of the parks, 20 cubic yards full of garbage every single time we've gone in to clean it up. There's been ongoing security patrols in the area. There's been more police presence and fire and emergency services responding to fire. So we need like a really holistic cost of what the encampments and the immediate solution to dealing with the encampments is, so that the province can see what happens when they continuously chronically underfund affordable housing and mental health and addictions. We need that number. So I'll ask that we include that as well in the report in July, because I'm hoping that the majority of folks, if not all, I would like all folks from the encampments in the Etobicoke Creek flood zone to be transitioned, the remaining 9, and ensure that it doesn't happen again, and make sure that the province sees very clearly and the residents see very clearly what some of the root causes as to why we got to this point. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Well said. And with that, I have a motion from Councillor Vicente, seconded by Councillor Santos, that we receive the delegation and that we move receipt of delegation report 9.1 and that we have a further update coming by July. All those in favor? That is carried. Thank you all. I'd be remiss if I didn't take this opportunity to say, because I want the good people of Ward 1 and 5 in Brampton to know it, you know, your efforts from Councillor Santos and Vicente on this file, I mean this sincerely. I'm proud of all the work my regional councillors do. But in five years, the efforts of these two councillors is rivaled only by Councillor Fonseca's efforts when we had to deal with a rodent problem in her community. And all the efforts that